don't need media training. It's not a trick. What is a woman? You can't answer the question with the... It's the college kids of America going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt who think it's a trick question when you ask them what a woman is.
For years now, the whole trans debate has either been driving you absolutely insane or keeping you wildly entertained. Personally, I was firmly in the grab the popcorn camp. But now that I have a daughter, this circus has taken on a bit more relevance in my life, and I say this with zero shame. UK lawmakers have finally shown a flicker of sense. Well, at least on this issue, let's not get carried away.
The unanimous decision of this court is that the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010 refer to a biological woman and biological sex. But we counsel against reading this judgment as a triumph of one or more groups in our society at the expense of another. It is not. As I shall explain later in this hand-down speech, the Equality Act 2010 gives transgender people protection not only against discrimination through the protected characteristic of gender reassignment, but also against direct discrimination, indirect discrimination, and harassment in substance in their acquired gender. This is the application of the principle of discrimination by association. Those statutory protections are available to transgender people whether or not they possess a gender recognition certificate.
This legislation doesn't introduce anything radically new. It simply clarifies what many believed was already implied, that for the purposes of the Equality Act, woman refers to biological sex. Lord Hodge, in his final speech, emphasised that this isn't a victory for one side or another, just a return to legal clarity, and as he put it, common sense. Understandably, not everyone sees
this
it
rhetoric that trans women specifically have the issue. We're in a fucking cost of living crisis. There are people going without eating. There are people who don't have homes. There are people who aren't getting medical care that they need. And yet the government decides to funnel money in to try and alienate trans people further. We are not the enemy. The government is. The patriarchy is. So to all my trans sisters out there, whether they try to say it or not, we are trans women. We will always exist. There is no two ways about it at all. I'm just not having it. Trans women are women, and I usually try to avoid that sentiment for this exact reason, because I know exactly what my comment section is going to be like. But trans women are women. Nada. There's nothing you can say.
This ruling is not about clarity, it's about control. It denies both science and society, and it is celebrating exclusion over empathy and understanding. And just a reminder, no one, especially not some old white man speaking in a received pronunciation accent, has the right to tell you who you are or who you are not. This is shameful. This shows how far we have fallen from having any sense of empathy or critical thinking skills. And it is a disappointing day. I love you.
I think it's important to add some context here. This isn't about being cruel or dismissive toward trans people. Not at all. Everyone deserves to live with freedom and dignity. The reason so many are cheering this decision is because of individuals like this sister here.
Hey kids, there are people who are not boys and not girls, like me. I'm non-binary. I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. And do you know what else this also means? There are no girls' toys. There are no subjects in school that boys are better at. There are no girls' movies. There are no boys' sports. Life is full. And I want you to be able to love everything that you naturally love without shame. I want you to be able to play with toys that you love. I want you to be able to do the schoolwork that you love to do. I want you to be able to do things without crossing them off the list because somebody else said you're not the right gender to be able to do that thing. You deserve a full and happy life. That's for sure.
Living as a woman doesn't make you a woman.
I trust people to be an expert in their own gender. If someone has been living as a woman for 15 years...
What does that mean, living as a woman?
Well, it means what I've said.
Well, what does it mean? What does it mean to live as a woman?
I don't really know how I can answer the question again. If a trans woman has
you wear
been...
dresses, you read certain books, you like something, what does it mean? I mean, not every woman lives wearing a dress, not every woman wears makeup.
No, indeed, and that's a much larger question about kind of gender discourse and feminism more widely. But my point is that if someone is a woman, has lived as a woman for many years, needs support because they've experienced misogynistic abuse, I want them to be able to access that support. It's as simple as that.
That literally makes no sense.
Now let's take a little swim across the pond to visit our dear cousins in America, where, believe it or not, the situation somehow manages to be even worse.
You referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important.
Because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you're
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are they also treated like this?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Stop it. Get some help.
Trump signed an executive order to bring an end to the so-called trans ideology in the States. Because of course he did. And with the decision in the UK this week, I think it's safe to say that even if the government hasn't got a clue, at least the courts still have a brain.
So a woman can have a penis?
Nick, I'm not... I don't think we can conduct this debate with, you know...
Sorry, have I offended you in some way?
No, it's just... I just...
A woman can have a penis?
I don't think that discussing this issue in this way helps anyone in the long run. What I want to see is a reform of the law as it is, but I also am an advocate of safe spaces for women, and I want to have a discussion that is... Anybody who genuinely wants to find a way through this is... I want to discuss that with. I do find that too many people, in my view, retreat or hold a position of which is intolerant of others, and that's not picking on any individual at all. But I don't like intolerance. I like open discussion.
Is it transphobic to say only women have a cervix?
Well, it is something that shouldn't be said. It is not right.
In 2021, you said that MP Rosie Duffield was wrong to say that only women have a cervix. In the next year, asked to define a woman in an interview in The Times, you said a woman is a female adult. In addition to that, trans women are women. Later that month, you said in an LBC phone-in, well, you just simply refused to answer the question of whether a woman can have a penis. And finally, in 2023, you said that for 99% of women, their gender is completely biological, and of course, they haven't got a penis.
So a woman can have a penis?
Nick, I'm not... I don't think we can conduct this debate with, you know...
Sorry, have I offended you in some way?
No, it's just... I just...
I think we need to manage this and think about it and debate it with a bit more maturity and a bit more compassion.
Well, that's what Sir Keir Starmer once said to me, and he never did answer the question, can a woman have a penis?
Well, I've just answered that question.
They can.
Listen, I've made it really clear that if people, the vast majority of people will have the same gender as their biological sex, but a small number won't.
So a woman can have a penis?
Well, quite clearly.